One of the country's biggest economic events is underway on the southern resort island of Jeju, discussing the latest socio-economic issues facing South Korea as well as the government's policy directions going forward. Our Moon Hye-ryeon is there and files this report.
With the country facing continued high interest rates, consumer prices and exchange rates as it enters the latter half of the year, the government aims to revitalize the economy into something dynamic. The 47th edition of the Jeju Forum, hosted by the Korea Chamber of Commerce and Industry, kicked off on Wednesday, gathering experts, industry insiders and government officials together. During the opening ceremony, SK Group Chairman Chey Tae-won discussed the changing economic landscape with new emerging technologies.
It's impossible to talk about anything without talking about AI. Technology has become specialized with a few dominating the market, and contingency plans are needed for this.
Finance Minister Choi Sang-mok followed up with a speech on the current economic environment amid geopolitical risks in the Middle East and the war in Ukraine, and how they affect South Korea.
From what I understand, national and economic security are one. There's no high-tech economic cooperation between countries without security cooperation.
This comes following President Yoon Suk-yeol's participation in the NATO summit last week, acknowledging the connection between Indo-Pacific and Euro-Atlantic security. Earlier this month, the government unveiled its economic policy plans for the latter half of the year, which showed a focus on vulnerable groups such as small business owners, pledging to spend nearly 25 trillion won or over $18 billion to provide financial support as well as a one-stop platform that provides necessary information.
The current problem that small business owners face isn't something that can be solved by just extending the deadline for debt repayments. It's a structural issue and the burden of high interest rates.
He also reaffirmed the government's plans to revitalize domestic demand and lay down a more positive view of the economy going forward, with a newly revised economic growth projection from 2.2% to 2.6% for 2024. Some 600 business leaders and representatives have gathered here on Jeju Island to discuss 4 central themes relevant to South Korea's industrial landscape today. The 4-day forum is scheduled to run until Saturday. Moon Hye-ryeon, Arirang News, Jeju.